Darkness cannot survive in the presence of light. Whenever light shines on any sort of darkness, the darkness disappears. It's a universal fact. So with that knowledge that you have, I want you to think of this analogy for a second. Imagine your mind like a pitch black room. And this pitch black room is filled with thoughts, worries, fears, anxieties, past regrets, future anticipations. It's filled with all of this noise, all of this clutter. And you're walking around this dark room, but you're stumbling everywhere. You stumble around trying to find space, trying to pave a way through this black room, but you are bumping into everything. You're bumping into all of this clutter because it's dark, you can't see, and it's full of stuff. It's full of all of this noise, full of all of this mess. Now, the torch, the light for you to see, is your awareness. And the moment you turn on the awareness of light, the moment you turn on the torch, and the moment you become the torch, boom. Clarity, focus, clear direction of what's in front of you and what needs to be removed so that you can go forward. You now get to see the clutter, the noise, the mess that has been holding you back. You get to start seeing the patterns that have been blocking you from moving forward. The shit that you've been holding on for your entire life, you now see. You have now become aware of the darkness. You become aware of the mess. And now that you can see this mess, you now have the ability to clear this mess. Make space for new stuff to come and for a new life to begin. You no longer are owned by the mess. You have disidentified with the mess. Make it your practice to become the torch in the dark room, because darkness can't survive in the presence of your light. Because when you turn on that awareness and you become aware of the clutter that's in your mind, and you're watching it from a higher level of consciousness, that means that you are no longer the clutter. You are no longer the darkness. You are no longer the suffering. You are the one that is observing it. You're separate from it. It's a beautiful thing. Once you realize, this is what keeps people stuck. This is what keeps people blocked from moving forward and blocked from bringing in new ideas, new creative thought processes, solutions to situations they've identified as problems. This is what keeps people stuck. Not becoming the torch in the dark room, because they believe that they are the clutter. That dark room stays dark for a majority of people's lives. They don't even know that a light bulb exists. They don't even know that they are the torch. When you observe the darkness, you turn on the torch. You turn on the torch of awareness and you kill the darkness. So think about what that clutter and that darkness means for you. Could be replaying arguments you've had in the past in your head. Might be the constant stream of anxious thoughts you keep having over and over again. Stressing about money. Your relationship isn't going to plan. You just lost your business. You just lost your job. Worrying about what other people think of you. All of this noise, all of this endless chatter, this stimulation is filling your mind with objects. It's filling your mind with stuff. And it's making the mind darker, less light. And the darker the mind gets, i.e. the more thinking and the more identified you are with your mind, the less you will be able to see and the less room you have for new shit to come into your life. This is when you will be stuck on autopilot and your awareness will weaken. This is why your life is feeling heavy right now. Not because life itself is heavy, but because of the clutter that is in your mind. Because I know deep down you want a new opportunity. You want a new income. You want a new relationship. You want a new job. Maybe even live in a new location. Just a new life in general. I know deep down that you want that. Maybe you're even looking for a solution to a situation you've identified as a problem and you haven't been able to fix it. Maybe you've been trying to get the solution to come in and think of a solution, a proactive approach, but you can't because you're overthinking too much. There's no space for that solution to come in. You don't even have the space for this solution to come in. You don't have the space for this new creative idea to come in because your mind is dark, it's stuffed, it's cluttered, mess. Here's another way for me to put it, just to make you understand a little bit better. Imagine you wanted a new furniture set into the front room of your house, like a new sofa, table, chairs, for example. Now, the front room that you want this new furniture set to come in is full of objects. Old furniture, TV, coffee table, ornaments, you name it, that room is full. You physically don't have space for that new furniture set to come in. And even if you tried forcing it in on top of everything else, you're not going to be able to get it in. And it's going to stress you out even more, leaving you to burn out. And you're just making it harder for the new furniture to come in, right? This is the exact same situation that's going on in your life right now. You're trying to bring in new ideas, new goals, new solutions. You're trying to bring all of these in when there just isn't space. And this is probably the reason why everyone feels burnt out. One, because the mind is cluttered, and two, because you're using all of this energy trying to bring it in when there's no space. Like the new furniture in the room full of objects. No matter how much energy you use to try bring it in, until you move stuff and get rid of stuff, it's not gonna come in. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, the more clear your mind, the less identified you are with your mind, with your thoughts, the more space you're gonna have, and the easier it is for you to bring in new opportunities, new solutions, new creative ideas for that new project you got going on, new things to say. Because with all this space that's in your mind, it requires much less energy from your end. This is what most people go through. A lot of people struggle heavily with this. And this is for two reasons. Number one, being they aren't even aware of the clutter that's holding them back. They simply just can't see it, completely unconscious. Or two, they can see it, but they are so attached to the clutter that's in their mind. They are so attached and identified with the content up here, maybe because they hold a story about them, that it records something from the past. They are so identified with the content in their mind that they do not want to let them go. Maybe because they believe that they are the clutter. They believe that they are the mess. They are identified with the mess. You can see why this is a massive block, right? You can see why this is an issue from propelling you to go forward and allowing you to make space for new opportunities to come in, right? You can see that. You have to become aware that the room is full. Once you become aware that this is full, you can now choose to let go of the clutter, of the shit that's been holding you back. You now have that power. Your power has come back to you. I always go back to the room. If you walk into a room full of objects, because you are aware, if you turn the light on in the dark room, you can see the room, right? There's the objects. You now have the availability to remove whatever you like if you wanted to bring new stuff in. Because remember, the mind is the dark room. The torch, the light switch, is your awareness. Simply become aware of the darkness in your mind and you can turn on the light. And this allows you to be separate from the clutter, from the thoughts, from the worries, the anxiety, the fears. You can let go of them and create space within. Because let me ask you this one question. How can you possibly expect higher vibrational thoughts, new creative ideas or solutions to come into your life if you are constantly overthinking, constantly trapped and identified with psychological time, past and future? How can you expect new stuff to come into your life if your mind is completely occupied, busy doing something else? Like, you may get stuff come in drips and drabs here and there, but nothing meaningful, nothing major will come, I can guarantee it. The fix for this, so simple. You need to first become aware that you are not your mind. The beginning of freedom is the realization that you are not the thinker. Freedom comes when you realize this content that's going on up here is not you. Secondly, you need to observe your thoughts. You need to observe your feelings, your reactions to various situations going on. Be more interested in your reaction than the situation that's caused the reaction itself. This should be a daily practice. And then finally, you need to simply let go of what you've become aware of, what you've been observing. The best example of this is if you're sitting in a park on a bench. Someone comes with their dog walking by, you acknowledge them and the dog, and then they walk off. You're not still thinking about them for the rest of your day. Your thoughts should be exactly the same. Become aware of the thought, observe it, don't analyze, don't judge, let it go. How do you even let go of these thoughts that you have such meaning attachments to? It's easier said than done. But for example, say you're worrying about what someone thinks of you. Instead of wrestling with the thought, you notice it, breathe, and then let it pass. That is you turning on the torch or the light switch in real time. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but this all comes down to present moment awareness. Because you becoming more present is you turning on the torch of awareness. Facts. Now, you don't magically remove all of the clutter by becoming present for 1 second. You don't remove the clutter, the noise, the mess by one observation. But every second spent in the present moment is another second spent with the light on. And the more you do this, the increase in battery you have in your torch. That is the best way to put it. When you are at level 0, you've got like 2% battery. The more you do this, it's like you put in the torch on charge. Eventually you have 100% and you just keep topping up. Because when you see the mess for what it is, when you see the clutter for what it is, it loses its power of you. You now have your power back. You withdraw energy from the mind because you're no longer being blindly owned by your thoughts, feelings, worries, anxieties. You are the one observing it. You are the torch in the dark room. And when you observe it, it creates a gap. This is the gap between your soul and your mind, between you and your thoughts. That gap between you and your thoughts is freedom. The gap between you and your thoughts is space for a new idea, solution to fix your problems, money-making idea, creative thought, business idea. Make this your practice going forward. Become the torch in the dark room. Become aware of the thoughts, the mental loops that have been holding you back. Be the observer of the mind. Because once the light is turned on, darkness cannot survive, my friend. It is that simple.